Hello everyone, I am Sanyukta Saxena, certified Zentangle teacher, and today I am back with another new Zentangle original pattern. As you are aware, I think by now that we are running a series on learning Zentangle original patterns which have been released by Zentangle headquarters. So in the last session we learned the pattern called Enisu, and today we'll be learning a pattern similar to that pattern, somewhat similar, and it's called Quib. Yes, so it looks somewhat like strands of hair. The name somewhat derived from the name quibble, indicating strands of hair. When you separate the strands of hair, so the way the threads or the waves separate. So what I've done is I've drawn two C shapes at two ends, right? Unlike Enisu where we started it one C shape or curve. And then I'm going to be again starting with these random curved lines, right? So I'm going to draw double lines. So I've added an aura, right? And then again draw another. So they are just random lines. I'm not planning any way in which I have to draw the lines in particular, just connecting these two at two ends, right? Again a third one, somewhat cutting across, again drawing behind, same principles, just the way we drew in any shoe. So double lines, drawing behind, starting from one end, going to the, basically it is tied from both the ends and they look like strands of hair, so that's where the name is inspired from, right? Again randomly one more strand, drawing behind, again adding an aura, right? Again starting another one, using the empty spaces in between, somehow manipulating the shape in such a way that you fill up the spaces. Right, one more probably here. So I'm just going random, not thinking much where, what, at times not completing the line even, because I'm drawing behind so they may not show, right? Probably one odd here, right? Again making them double lines, adding an aura, right? And what I'm going to do is probably close this and fill it in, so it gives the effect of, you know, a cap on these lines from which they are emanating. So I have basically capped them, right? So you can fill it in, or you can leave it the way it was. Right, so if you fill it in, it gives a different impression, as if the lines are coming out from somewhere, right? So this is the basic of the pattern Quib, right? That's how the pattern looks like. Again the same principle as in any shoe, places from where lines are emanating, the beginning. You can add graphite at the intersections where these strands are crossing each other, right? But generally these are the places where we add. Just be careful, we have added some ink, so just a slight touch, right, and probably some at the intersections like these, right. So just to show you a few examples, you can also add some graphite at these intersections. Right. So how do we generally play around with the pattern if you wish to create variations? There are a couple of ways in which we can do that. Right. So you can see there are these spaces that are left in between. Right. So what we can do is add something inside these spaces. Right. So I've added an aura. You can leave it the way it is, just an aura, or you can add some orbs here, or you can add any other pattern inside, right. Just to show you a few examples, again I am repeating the auras, right. These are two examples. Another way to play around with the pattern is to add something in the lines, the double lines that we have drawn, right. Just to show you an example, I am adding some simple orbs here. You can add any other border tangle, or for that matter any other pattern, right. I'll show you a few tiles where I've played around with these strands also, right. And the third is this cap that you have put, right. So just extend it, add some aura, and the look is different, right. So just a simple addition and some auras and some shading probably, and the look is different. You have created a variation, right. Just some graphite at the corners, right, and then just blend it in. So there are so many ways you can play around, just to give you an idea of how you can, right. I'm just blending the graphite that I put on my edges, right. A little graphite on these orbs. You can fill in the small little spaces that are left, and the look will be absolutely different, right. So let us draw a tile now using whatever we have learned. This is the pattern Quib. So I'll show you a few more tiles, right. This is a tile. I will be posting these tiles on my Facebook page. You can see how I have played around with the strands, right, inked them and then added some fescues with an aura. Again, this is a tile where Quib is in the background and drawings, we have already learned this pattern, is in the forefront, right. And this is again a tile where these strands are somehow emanating from the pattern Diva Dance Rock and Roll, and the rest of the tiles is finery, right. So there's so many ways. This is a very organic version of the pattern, a simple bookmark that I drew and recently posted on my page. Again, somewhat looks like I started off like Quib and then gave it a totally organic version, right. So the strands look different here. So let us draw a tile using the pattern Quib, a simple tile. So in front of me is a square tile, the regular square tile, and I intend to use Quib. I intend to draw two quibs crossing each other, right. So I'll start with one and then probably see how, whether we draw both of them simultaneously or we draw one by one, right. So I'm starting randomly, then going to aura it, right? Let me draw another one crossing the first one. So we'll create these crisscross and we'll have spaces in between. So we'll see what do we want to do with those spaces, right? So again, adding an aura. Drawing another line. Again, adding an aura. Right? Again, just going random, not thinking much where, how. Right? Again, one from here. Give it a more twist. Like this. So I am drawing two quibs at the same time. And creating some fun little sections or intersectices in between. Drawing another one emanating from the same, right? Again adding an aura. Right? Then pick up another one. Right? So you're seeing that spaces are now starting to shrink. Right? So there will be more drawing behind. Right? Another one probably like this. Right. You need to be little careful that you don't cross any lines, and at the same time there's a continuity maintained, right? So a little bit of focus required there, right? So then again we go with another one, draw somewhere here, then come like this, finish like this, right? Again adding an aura. So you can see how and what kind of spaces are being created inside, right? So I'll start one again here, go like this, cover up some space here, come down, further down, go like that, again come down, again create an aura, right? So probably add one or two more. So what I'm going to do is add one here, then come down, again draw behind, right? So one or two strands here, So kind of space crunch here, so just going to draw behind, assuming that the lines are going back, right? So we have created these small little spaces in between. It is up to you what you want to do with it, right? So you can either leave it the way it is, or you can, add some patterns or something like that. So now what I'm going to do is, again, close this gap, right? And what you can do is add a curve and some orbs, keeping it simple. So I did the same exercise on all the four corners, right? All these heads I just inked it and then given a cap over the inked portion, right? So now with the rest of the tile, it is up to you. What do you want to do? How do you want to go about filling it up, right? So probably I would go with a improvised version of the Tangle Crescent Moon, also called as Moon Pie. I just somehow feel it to be an extension of the pattern Crescent Moon, just that the consecutive layers or auras are decorated, right? So I have drawn a moon here, and then I'm going to draw two lines. There is no hard and fast rule how you have to draw the pattern, just that the auras that I'm adding to the moon are a bit decked up here, right? So again another aura, then some orbs, right? And then I'm going to rotate my tile and add an aura to these orbs, curved one, like this, right? Now you can either leave it here or you can extend it further if you wish, right? So let me take it a bit further, add another line of aura, or double line probably, right? And draw some doodah, so I'm just adding randomly tangles that are coming to my mind and extending, and then a small line of puffs to end it, right? Like this, right? So I'll do this one more time here, show you. So I'm just drawing a moon, a crescent moon, a half moon, the ladybug shape with whatever space I have, right? Then adding my first two lines of aura, adding some lines inside. I'm just going to replicate the same thing, right? Then again adding a line of aura, adding some bigger orbs, like these, then another aura, curved one, outlining the orbs, one more line, right? Then two more lines, going to fill in Duda here. Very simple pattern to draw. Nice filler, right? And the final line of small little puffs or orbs, circles, whatever you may like to call them. Right? So I'll do the same exercise in these two portions also and get. So this is how it looks after I did the same exercise in all the 4 gaps that we had, right? So now let us move on to shading our tile. I'm going to leave the rest of the tile white. I don't think anything else is required here, right? So as we generally do, I'm going to add some graphite here from where lines are emerging. Some thick dark graphite. I'm pushing my pencil hard, right? And since there's a lot of work involved here, a lot of crisscross, I'm just going to highlight some of the crossings here, some of the more clearer ones, and not going into too much of details, right? So picking up few big crossings or intersections and highlighting them, right? So just randomly going to pick up a few and just highlight those intersections, right? Not getting into each and every detail, so I don't want the entire section to go gray, right? So picking up some of the intersections and leaving the rest just randomly, right? And we'll see where more is required, right? And then some here on the Duda, right? Some a little touch on the orbs, the bigger orbs, and a touch on the Duda. Make sure you're not adding too much of it. You don't want the entire thing to go gray. I'm just using my pencil edge to add little graphite. Right. So let's now start blending. So I'm just going to blend the places where I've added some graphite, right? So after blending, if you think that certain places are absolutely white and they may need little, shades of gray, then you can go ahead and do that. So just a subtle shade, not adding too much because the quib itself is pretty complicated and crisscross. Right, just blending. Also using the graphite already there to add some more portions. Right. So now if you think that you need a touch here and there, of gray, right? Yeah. Right, I think that much is enough, and then just gently blend. So I'm just with the light hand just touching on the white that I put, right? The last one. Right, so I think that's about it. We don't need to do anything else. If you wish, you can add some highlights here and there. I don't think it would be required here, right? So that's our tile. I'm now going to initial it. Sign and date it. And I'll see you again with another new Zentangle original pattern. Till then, stay safe, have a good time, bye bye.